welcome everyone here tonight to the Super Spreader event. I just want to give a disclaimer. So when we're all in lockdown over New Year's and you're spending New Year's Eve with your favourite 5 people again this year, you've all got to take some credit for it. So I guess this event has been in the making for quite a few years, not just over the last 4 days. I think Clint's probably been planning this event for, I would say, about 3 years now. So when it looked like it wasn't going to happen, it was, it was pretty disappointing for him, I could tell. He had this massive extravaganza in mind. And you're going to have to forgive me for sort of referring to my notes. It's been a bit of a busy week. A busy couple of weeks, really. But anyway, when restrictions lifted and, it looked like this was all going to go ahead, it's been full steam ahead, as you can all see. This is not our normal deck. As I've been saying to people, I am missing my Hills hoist, which should be about here, and the dog does need somewhere to shit. But next to us backyard at the moment is a pretty good option. So anyway, it was important for Clint to create this extravaganza, not just for himself, but also for everybody else. And that was a big thing for him. And also, as we discussed at lunch with the Richos recently, even if it was at the detriment of his wife's mental health, which has taken its toll. So Clint asked me, I'm just going to move my... Clint asked me about a week and a half ago, or maybe 2 weeks ago now, had I written a speech for his wedding, for his 50th. And I thought, oh my God, you mofo. And if there's any boomers or Gen Ys in the audience that don't know what a mofo is, it's 2 words. First word, mother. Second word rhymes with tucker. I thought, you mofo, I've been a little bit busy. I've been organising the Super Spreader event and the Festival of Sea, which, is a bit more than this. And most of that time, he's been sitting next to me in the office here at home, thinking, lockdown finished months ago. I don't know why you're still here at home. Like, you've got your own office, you've got people you can bother. And it's freaking exhausting for me having to look busy all the time. Anyway, so 2021 doesn't just mark Clint's 50th. It's 20 years for Clint and I as a couple. It's been a long 20 years. Anyway, when I was writing this speech, I was thinking, far out, I need some inspiration. So I looked back on what I'd written for his 40th. I looked back on what I'd written for his wedding. I thought, okay, because I spoke at his wedding, our wedding. And I thought, what's different? Is anything changed over the last 2 decades apart from the hairline? Anyway, I thought, well, he's still the master of delegation. I'm sure many would agree with that. Yes. And I'd have to say thank you, everybody, for embracing the birthday card project, because that, for me, was a massive help. Clint came up with this amazing idea of, how great it would be to put together this photo book of me and all my friends, and that was going to be up to Rosie or I. I'm like, what the fuck? That is hours of work. So to me, that was my delegation and my most proudest moment. So I'd have to say, he did intercept 2 cards early on. So the surprise was kind of given up a bit, but the rest of the cards I've been able to hold off, and I gave them to him earlier this week when we went away, and each and every card has brought such joy, and I actually tried to take a couple of photos when Clint was reading them, but they wouldn't have done it justice. Just seeing his smile and just how it lit up his face, just seeing the sort of the joy and the intimacy and those like old memories that have just been revived.
I'm sure I did, Nanette.
It was my idea, but I'd have to say what it brought to Clint was really, really beautiful to see. So, you know, I was really appreciative that everyone went to that effort, and obviously not the least of me. So the other thing that stuck out over the last 20 years is that I've been the other woman in a lot of Clint's extramarital affairs. And there has been quite a few. Anyway. Each one of his love interests have had their own special name for him. You know, it's kind of like my current one of Mofo, which has, you know, been used quite a lot lately. When we first met, it was Ant and Steve that I had to compete with for Clint, or should I say Bozo's attention. You know, you'd think that Aunt Clint and I, or Clint, Steve and I might have been a threesome way back then. Our honeymoon was the first time we'd actually ever been on a holiday on our own as a couple, and I half expected Clint or Ant, oh sorry, not Clint, he was already there, Ant or Steve, to jump out of the bushes at any time because I was so used to them being there. But, you know, they all said I'd be a sailing widow. And I was for a few years. But then, of course, the novelty wore off from exotic destinations like Geelong and Newcastle, Wollongong. Where else did we go? Brisbane. And I thought, you know what? Turn the page. I'm going to leave him on a cliffhanger. I thought, you guys can have him. I'm over him. So, with me off the scene, it then opened the door for Clint to develop a really close and deep relationship with Emmett. When Peabody would hang off every highbrow word that came out of his mouth. Together they'd bond over rig tensions and the roundness of the laugh and the thickness of the battens. I'm not actually sure who broke off the relationship. I have my suspicions, and I actually think it would have been Emmett. I don't know if he'd seen Fatal Attraction with Glenn Close and the whole bunny boiling thing, and he probably got a little bit nervous because Clint was quite infatuated with him, and he actually still is. Anyway, never one to give up. Clint's bided his time over all these years, and he's, you know, thinking, one day we'll be together again. And he swiped right recently, took a chance, hoping that Emmett would feel the same way. Wow, fortune favours the brave because the boys are back together. Clint says it's going to be different this time because it's all about IT systems at work. I'm not an idiot. He thinks, I know it's not going to be long before they're bending over the mast together and fantasising over the perfect seam shape, I should say. I've been there before. But you know what? I actually feel really sorry for Richo. I just feel like he's going to get dumped because there's this huge bloke in town. And I don't know where you are, Richo. I should be able to see you in that cow suit. Richo, you need to remind him about those gondola rides in Venice. And, you know, and the sponge baths and dressing him after the Italian incident. He probably doesn't remember, though. And the drives in the old truck where you kind of snuggle up together with the thermos. I don't know, Rich, I reckon you've got this. Oh, and the pash. Oh my God, has anyone, there's photographic evidence over there, far out. If anyone can see the embrace, there is got to be something in that.
When do I move in?
Unless King Buddy wants more. And you know what? I've seen BC and Wilso sniffing around lately. And I reckon they're trying to cut your grass. But you know what? There's Dave. And I don't know where Dave is, but I know he's in the wings. He's there. And he's making a valiant attempt to rekindle the old romance, you know, just trying to make Bozo see about how great you were together when you used to paddle and how great you can be again, and reminiscing about the old times, taking him back to his roots and seducing him with beers on the beach at Balmoral after those paddles. How do I feel about it? Well, I just hang in the background. Because behind every great man is an even greater woman. Clint will probably say that he's lucky. And he is. In my wedding speech, I spoke of being the luckiest girl in my world. And time has not proven me wrong. Back then I spoke of Clint having a rare combination of so many special qualities. Those of you that have known him for a long time would know those qualities that I'm talking about. Those of you who are new to him would be starting to recognise them. He's generous, he's passionate, intelligent, incredibly supportive, he's sensitive, he's a hopeless romantic. One that I didn't mention on our wedding day was he's inspiring. Don't get me wrong though, because he is not perfect. Cannot play the guitar, cannot sing, cannot pack the car for a holiday. And he is a little bit strange. Not the least his fashion sense. Cycling socks should be reserved for cycling. Not to be worn halfway up your calf with shorts when you're going out for dinner. I went to see the new James Bond movie recently. There's a poem that M reads at the very end. The proper function of man is to live, not to exist. I shall not waste my days in trying to prolong them. I shall use my time. When I heard that, it immediately made me think of Clint and how he lives his life. And although there are many, many times I wish he would prolong the day rather than maximise it, it has been and continues to be one epic ride. Happy birthday, you mofo. I'd now like to introduce Dave.